All right, folks, the forecast is looking very, very bad for housing for next year. What are you going to do about it? Well, guess what? This is your day, because we have as our special guest Mr. Dale Archdekin, owner of Smart Coaching and Smart Inside Sales, our personal coach and coach to the stars. And we're going to cover objection handling and how you're going to get through the next 12 months. Coming up next on Cliff's Notes. Real estate agents, are you struggling with the day-to-day grind, dialing for dollars, putting in hours of floor time with little to show for it? Are you looking for tips, tricks, and tactics to accelerate your career as an agent that will have you closing more homes, working with more clients, and earning more money than ever before? Hi, my name's Cliff Freeman, and I've spent the past 2 decades of my real estate career running one of the top brokerages in DFW and personally coaching over 1,000 high-performing real estate professionals across North America. I created this podcast to share the strategies and tactics you need to explode your real estate business. I guarantee it. Guarantee's on today, isn't it?
It is a guaranteed episode.
I mean, just like Mattress Mac parking that $75 million bet on the Astros.
Yeah, do you know he's only going to net $1 million off of that because of the deal that how many mattresses he sold? He would give everybody that bought a mattress, I guess, the mattress back. Free, right?
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah, so his yield on that bet is only going to be $1 million.
Well, you know what we should do?
What should we do?
Our guarantee should be that we're going to refund everybody their money that paid to see this show today. If they don't think they're going to get every nugget they need to get through the next year, man.
I think that's a solid idea.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Are you ready? Dale Archdekin, the man with the plan, all the way from Philadelphia. Thank goodness he doesn't have his Phillies hat on today.
I should have brought that down here. I didn't know you guys actually watch the sports.
Yeah. So what's going to happen, man? Is it going to be the Phillies and the Astros, or what?
That's what it is, man.
Yeah,
I mean, the Phillies are going to win, but
I tell you,
the Astros are there.
Yeah,
they need someone to play against.
Well, look, I mean, it's a Texas team. We need to have a little side bet here, don't you think?
Yes, we should.
Why not?
Maybe a crisp C note. Maybe we need to put the C note down, throw down the gauntlet. What do you think? Yeah,
I think you guys could cover that. I think you're good for it.
I think, yeah. Well, let's do it. Is that a deal?
That's a bet.
Even up, right? No
even.
Line, no spread.
Wait, what's that? No, yeah, just even.
Yeah, you take the Phillies, we'll take the Astros.
There we go.
Done deal. All right.
Let's
get down to business here. We have the gloom and doomers talking about as much as a 20% drop in home prices in some areas. We're talking about layoffs. Zillow just laid off 5% of their workforce. Compass, who knows what's happening there. All through the industry, people are scared. They're not saying a lot, but I can tell you what, they're wondering how in the heck they're going to get through the next year.
Yeah.
Dale?
Well,
what do you think?
Listen, man, I was a listing agent and built my business through 2008 during the economic collapse. So I know that it can actually be done. The worst economic recession that anybody had seen in 100 years. So I know it can be done. And you just have to be kind of stubborn about it and continue going for it. Does that mean that you aren't going to wake up and, have negative thoughts, or that you aren't going to be disappointed, or that you aren't going to be scared? Of course not. We all are. But you got 2 choices, right? You can either hide in your spider hole and wait for the storm to pass, or you can get out in front of it and take advantage of it as much as you can and take control of where your business goes. Be in front of it. That's every single time when real estate was shut down in my area for 4 months during coronavirus. Yeah, it sucked. Yeah, it was scary, but we just got in front of it and had more conversations with more people. So if fewer people are going to transact, you have to talk to more people and find the ones who are going to transact. And so that's one of the things that we were going to talk about today is, right now we're starting to hear a lot of these objections. I'm waiting for the market to crash. I'm waiting to see what the interest rates do. I'm waiting to see about inflation. I'm going to wait until next year. And in some cases, I don't know. I'm just going to not do anything right now, right? They don't even know. So that's what we're currently working on our clients with, is just giving them a pattern to follow. Because if you have a plan, it's much easier to execute the plan. Just put your head down, execute the plan, and keep doing it.
Yeah. People, if you look back on the number of homes sold over the past 3 years, it's been an anomaly. I mean, we broke 6 million for the first time in a while, and in 2019, 2020 was a good year. If we do have a pullback, it's really not going to be, too far below where we should be anyway. The thing that I look at is we're probably going to have a cleansing of the herd here and lose a number of agents, which means to me, as I look back, and some of the agents that got in the business got in because their neighbor pulled up in a new Cadillac and was a realtor, and they thought it was just the money tree, dropping money in their front yard, and they really didn't develop a skill set during this time, to get a home sold or to be able to guide clients and so forth. So, and I'm so excited today that we have you here because, I mean, if there's one guy that I know has the expertise and has done it himself, it's Mr. Dale here, and we're excited to dive in. So, so what are you telling your clients then? What are we doing? What's the sort of mindset we need to be in, Dale? How do we get prepared to have these conversations with our clients who are lost? They're just really lost out there.
Yeah, so we give people a pattern, right? And the pattern typically is, first, you're not going to when they say these things like waiting for the market to crash, interest rates, waiting for Bernie Sanders to get into office, or whatever the hell they say, you're just not going to argue with them initially. You're not going to try to close them immediately. You're not going to try to change their mind immediately. Just understand them first, unpack them a little bit. So let's take I'm waiting for the market to crash, for instance, right? So why don't I demonstrate? Cliff, tell me you're waiting for the market to crash.
Well, Dale, we're thinking about putting our house on the market and buying something, but since we're going to be in a move up situation, we'd like to see houses prices drop a lot, so we're waiting for the market to just really go down before we do anything.
Wow. Okay, got it. Now that precluded one of my questions that I would ask you because you explained it. My first question, if you had just said, "Yeah, we're waiting for the market to crash," it would have been, "Oh, got it. When you say market crash, what exactly do you mean by that?" But everybody listening, Cliff already gave me that information. What he said was, he said, "I'm waiting for the prices to come down." And then he even told me why he was waiting for the prices to come down, which would help him in terms of his purchase, right? So some of that discovery that I would have done with you, Cliff, was precluded because you gave me so much information. But I still have a few more
Let's
questions.
back up and here. I'll do
Okay.
this right. Okay. Ring ring. Hello hello. Dale. Yeah. I mean, we're just waiting for the market to crash and see if we can pick up some pieces then.
Got it. Got it. So when you say market crash, Cliff, what do you mean exactly?
Well, I mean, I think we could see home prices drop 20% maybe next year. And that's what, to
Wow.
me, that's kind of a crash.
Wow. And you think that's going to happen next year? Do you have an idea of when?
Well, my crystal ball is not, not 100% clear on that, but, if I was a betting man, I'd say there's probably a 50-50 chance of that happening next year.
50-50. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously everybody likes to save money, but is there anything that makes this particularly important to you to wait for a market to crash?
Well, I mean, I've always been told you make money when you buy real estate, not when you sell it, right? So we've just been following that, path ever since we started
Yeah.
buying houses, 40 years ago, and I've bought at least 3 houses since then.
So that's a good policy to follow. Yeah, I mean, market crash, prices coming down certainly would benefit you. What would happen if that doesn't actually happen next year?
I hadn't really thought about it. That's kind of all the news you pick up, all you read. It's like
Yep.
everybody now is, we know house prices just blew up over the last 3 years. I
Yeah.
don't
Well,
know.
if home values stay steady or go up, are you just going to stay where you're at, or would you, at some point, do you need to make a move?
We're going to need to make a move eventually, but gosh, man, rates are so high right now. I mean, our mortgage payment would be double if we moved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Well, listen, I mean, I don't know if you know this, Cliff, but over the last 100 years, there have been 11 recessions. And only twice during those 11 recessions have home prices actually gone down. That was once in the 1980 and once in 2008. And all the economists that I follow right now say that that's definitely not going to happen again like it did in '08 because of 5 factors that just aren't there that were there back then in 2008, which is that we have really high interest rates. We have a very low inventory, lack of inventory, and a lack of new homes being built. We have incredible buyer demand that's not going away, and we have very, very tight lending standards that weren't in place back then at that time. So let me ask you this, Cliff. If I did run across a home that you believed would work for your family, that made sense for you guys, and was still affordable, where it didn't kill you, didn't break the bank, would you at least want to see it?
I consider myself open-minded. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, I'm going to break role play, everybody. So here's what we did. I heard you out. I questioned into you. I got you to explain everything to me. We talked about it. I understand you pretty well. And then I just rolled right into an education piece about the facts that I'm looking at and why that might not happen and other factors that you aren't considering. And I went right into a soft close. I didn't debate you. I didn't make you wrong. I just went into a soft close where I said basically, hey, man, all that stuff considered, here's the opposing position, here's the information, and if we could get you something that would work for you, would you want to take a look at it? And it's a soft close. I didn't say, hey, would you want to go out and buy today, right? Because that's probably going to create some more opposition from you. But this is a pattern that we teach, and anybody can follow this pattern. Unpack them, understand them. One, you need to be educated. You would need to know all that stuff that I just said to Cliff. And then you go into a soft close and see what he says. And Cliff might have said, I don't know, man. I love all your pretty words and your amazing hair. But listen, I'm just going to sit right here and see what happens and come back and talk to me in March. If that was the case, then I would have just gone to a logical next step. Hey, Cliff, okay, no problem, man. You hang out in your hobbit hole and you wait for the sky to fall. I'm here for you, buddy. Right? But here's when we're going to talk next. Here's why we're going to talk next. And this is what you're going to get out of it. So these are the things that we teach people to do right now.
Right, right. So what is it that most, when most agents get in these conversations, what's the biggest mistake you see them make?
They argue right off the bat. Oh, I don't know, Cliff. That's not going to happen, man. Here's why X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 up, down, and left, right, right? But the lead is going. You can't make a hard left with the lead, right? You come in and you say, hey, Dale, this is what's going to happen. This is why it's going to happen. And this is how I'm going to take advantage of it. And I immediately argue with you. And you're going to be like, whatever. All that stuff just bounced off me, right?
Right.
So you need to go through a process with them. What happens with these salespeople is they're like, oh my God, I need a sale. Please don't tell me no. And you tell them no. And they're like, I can't deal with no. I either need to argue with you or ignore what you said and try to ask you to buy something anyway, or say, okay, call me. I'm going to quit and go work on my Instagram page, right? That's typically what happens. So if they can remain calm, have some training, execute their training in the face of being shot at, they can keep moving on in the conversation. And then one of two things is going to happen. Cliff is going to consider doing things differently, or he's not, right? And just have a plan for both of those.
Yeah. It's funny. You were able to kind of use the can opener to get into my head a little bit and open my mind. We have a saying around the Cliff Freeman group that a man's mind,
changed against his will, is of the same opinion still.
Right.
Right.
So you cannot put somebody in a headlock, right? And whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. That's not what counts here, because you'll break rapport with them. Okay.
Does
Listen,
the mantra?
I've tried to put my wife in a headlock and convince her that I'm right for many years now. I finally have seen the light, and I've realized that I have to attract her. I can't force her.
Yeah, that's called birth control.
I was just saying, does the mantra, the customer is always right, apply here when you're on the phone? You really don't, when you were talking about arguing, it's really, frowned upon to disagree with somebody on the phone, right? You want to make them feel like they get some wins,
Of course, or at least they're heard. Let them be heard. I didn't agree with a damn word that you said, Cliff. The only thing I agreed with was if houses were cheaper, that would be great, right? I didn't say, yeah, they're going to go down. Yeah, they're going to go down by 20%. Yeah, you're going to have, homes and deeds raining from the sky. I didn't agree with any of that stuff.
All right. So
I just heard you out.
Yeah, let's go back to the writer downers if we could. Let's have those 5 things that people need to know again that are different this time around.
Oh, sure. Wait, you want? I can show you a fancy slide. Can I share my screen?
Oh, I don't know. How does that work? Can we share screens or? I don't know. Try it, and if it blows everything up, we'll know.
Let's see. Can I share? What's this?
I don't think we
I don't
can,
know.
Dale.
I'm not going to
You-
click any more buttons.
Actually, it's not on. We're on vMix, not Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah,
this
I'm not
won't work.
clicking
Yeah.
any more buttons.
Yeah.
Here's what
Okay.
I'll tell you.
Okay.
The 5 factors. And wait, before this, I want to tell everybody listening just this really amazing tip. If you want to sound really knowledgeable and be able to spit out facts and figures and well-crafted statements, you go to the Google and you say, why won't home prices drop? Will the economy crash in 2023? Right? How many recessions have there been in the last 100 years? How many times have home prices gone down in the last 100 years? You go and Google that stuff right now, you're going to see exactly what I just said. That you just need to be educated. So a lot of agents are afraid to do this stuff because, one, they aren't educated and they don't know what to say. Two, they don't have a pattern, which I just gave them. It's a pattern to follow, not a script. It's a pattern. And three, they haven't practiced these things. You just need to practice it, and then you can deliver it to anybody. But I'll give the 5. It was low inventory, lack of new construction, large amounts of new buyers, and I kind of embellished that a little bit. Strict lending standards and a drop in foreclosures.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, even here in Dallas, we're still short about 85,000 homes from what you would consider a balanced market, and the builders are only building about 25,000 a year. We got a long way to go to get caught up. Plus, we continue to add people here. At one point, it was 5,000 people a week that were moving here. So it's a little bit like the weather, and that's one thing that, is it important? Do we need to read just the national news, or do we need to get granular and take a closer look at what's going on in our local markets?
You absolutely need your local market news, because I wouldn't know that 5,000 people were moving to Dallas. I didn't know that 25,000 homes were being built in your area. I know what's being built in my area. I don't know what's being built in your area. I don't know what the specific shortage is in your area. So I know nationally we have X million number of homes that, in terms of a shortage, that we need. But definitely knowing it local is important. But I want to go back to this, Cliff. Do not tell them what you know until you get them to tell you what they know and what they think and how they feel about it. After they share that with you, at that point in normal human conversation and interaction, you now have it's reciprocity. You now have the permission to educate them. You don't ask for the permission, you just have it. If you let them say their piece, you let them express themselves, there will be a natural interaction between the two of you where they're going to allow you the space to talk about what you want to talk about.
And
then
let's go back
notice-
to that. Let's go back to that
Sure.
question that you asked that started that process of getting permission. As I recall, I think you said, well, what's going to happen? What does that mean when the market crashes, right? Was that the way that you were trying to find out what my knowledge base was? Yeah.
Yeah, so initially I asked, when you say market crash, what exactly do you mean? So let's say, for instance, you said, I'm going to wait for the interest rates to come down. Oh, got it. So when you say come down, what would that look like? How far down do you think they're going to come, or how far down do they need to come for you? Right? I'm just understanding you. The final question that I asked you was, I did a reversal. I said, well, what if that doesn't happen? What if the market doesn't crash? What if the interest rates don't come down?
Yeah.
That's where I started as my lead into the education piece, which was, okay, great. We saw that side of the coin. We heard that perspective. Now I'm going to make a reversal and interject a question that I'm going to make you contemplate the opposite. And then I'm going to educate you in the opposite. And then I just rolled it straight into a soft close without asking your opinion or feedback. And because all that would have done is given you more opportunity to think, how else should I argue with this guy now that he just gave me great information?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. The theory of reciprocity. Yeah. Really, really important. Okay. All right.
And so this stuff works for market crash, interest rates, economy, wait and see.
What about a wife that wants to go to Louis Vuitton? Will that? No.
You'll have to figure that one out on
am-
your own there.
You're on
but-
your own there.
yeah.
Yeah, admittedly, I am not a marriage counselor.
Yeah. Although sometimes we probably should have a license for what we have
Put
to
up
do
with, yeah.
on that accord.
true.
So,
Yes.
okay, well, that's a really great way to break the ice, to get in there and build rapport, and to be able to sort of influence that person into having an open mind and doing the right thing. So the next step, you said there were two ways. You said I could have either gone south on you, in which case you would have said, stay in your hobbit hole. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. So what is the next step? What's the next logical progression here for that conversation after they've opened their mind a little bit?
Well, sure. I mean, if you're open to, yeah, you'd want to take a look at it, Dale, but it has to check all these boxes, or it has to be affordable, or this, that, or the other thing. Essentially, I'm looking at, will you possibly move forward? Will you possibly do something sooner or under certain circumstances, or will you not? And so if you will, great, then we just move on. And best case scenario is that you try to get face to face with these people, whether it's real live in person or whether it's just on video, right? And of course, that's when we get into the regular closing skills. If it's a buyer and they're not quite ready to go look at homes, can I at least get you to go out and just test run, window shop with me in real life? Like just, come check out a sample of houses initially. Or if it's around a listing, and you're not ready to list it yet, totally get that. A lot of my clients really benefit from some pre-planning, several months before they're ready to actually start actively marketing. So we start preparing them in that way and just change what we represent. So I want to get face to face with you. If I can't get face to face, I'm going to default to a video. Okay, hey Cliff, got it. I understand you don't want to go out and look at some houses, or you don't want me sitting on your couch. Can we at least just jump on a Zoom for 10 minutes? We'll window shop online, or 10 minutes, you can walk me around, show me some of the benefits of your house, or I can give you some, advice right here from my desk if you just walk around with your camera. I want that face to face, right? I want to invest in that. So that's on the positive side if they are willing to consider something, or we can make a potential change. With the no, nope, Dale, not going to hear it, not doing anything, no committal, non-commitment here, not going to do anything different. Great, I get it. Now we're going to set a logical next step. And so for a logical next step, that's a when are we going to talk, why are we going to talk, and what are you going to get out of it? So let's go back to you being a move up buyer, Cliff. And you said, pretty words, I'm not hearing it. I'm just going to stay doing what I'm doing, which is nothing and waiting. I'd say, okay, I got it, Cliff. I can hear how important this is to you. And listen, man, I'm constantly monitoring what's going on in the market, the financial markets, the real estate markets, and especially here locally. And since you're a really educated guy and you like to make really good decisions, here's what I'll do. The Fed is meeting again on the 7th. I'll do this. I'll follow up with you on the 8th. I'll reach out to you, give you a quick call, let you know what happened and what impact I think that's going to have on the real estate market, so you can continue making great decisions, whether that's doing exactly what you're doing or changing course. How does that sound?
Awesome. Yeah, great.
Sign me up.
Yeah, great stuff.
Sign me up.
Okay.
That's a when we're going to talk, why we're going to talk, and what you're going to get out of it.
Okay. Let's say that I'm a little more open about going to look at houses. Dale, back in the old days, we used to tell agents never let anybody get in your car without a signed buyer tenant rep agreement. A lot of brokers still say that. What's your theory on whether or not somebody should sign a loyalty agreement before you meet them face to face?
So I look at it like dating. I'll give you one free date. Okay? You get one. You get a first one, you get to feel each other out, and then we see if we have a second date or not. And if we're going to have a second date, that's going to be based on an agreement, or that's going to be based on I'm working for you. So I used to definitely be in that camp of you're not going to meet with anybody. It needs to be a professional relationship. We need to have an agreement that we're working together. Listen, man, when the chips are down and there's going to be a whole lot less sales going on, and it's either I eat or you eat, I'm going to go meet with that person and try to win them. I'm going to try to win that business.
Okay. So when you have somebody on the phone, do you even bring up the buyer? How does that conversation go about getting that meeting at the first house? How do you qualify it? Do you put a roadblock up at all, or mention the buyer tenant rep agreement, or do you just go address it when you get to the house?
So I would gauge the person. If they're we have lots of different conversations, right? Really motivated are those people who say, yeah, we're going to do this, this is why we're going to do it, we're prepared, we have money, etc., etc. We just haven't found the right property yet. Hey, fantastic, I'm going to get you to go out and look at one with me, and I will casually mention, hey, yeah, I usually like to go and meet clients at the first property, get a sense for each other to determine whether I think I can help you achieve your goals and whether we like working together. And if that's the case, then we could formalize that relationship after that, right? That's a very soft way to introduce a professional relationship, because that person is already far enough down that buying funnel that process and purchase and execution is already in their brain. If I'm
Mhm.
talking to that person who's like, I don't know, we may do something, it'll be a while from here, blah, 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 we're not really, going to be executing anytime soon, and I can manage to get you to go out and just window shop a couple properties with me, I'm not going to burden that conversation right there with a professional relationship. That can happen when I get face to face with you.
Wow. Okay. So a lot of times when I'm talking to agents about this type of stuff, we talk about scripts and dialogues, but really I get them to understand how important it is to have an agenda for each call. What's the best way? I know we talked about practice and so forth and so on. Is it taking a pile of scripts and memorizing them until you can say them in your dreams at night? Or what about the cat and mouse thing, learning how to dance with a client? I mean, what is the skill that's required that the top ISAs and top salespeople have? What is that skill?
Well, one, they are born with a natural gift for persuasion and a natural gift for understanding people. And if you're born with a natural gift for persuasion and understanding people, you don't need a whole lot of training. If you aren't born with those skill sets, then we have to teach you the art of persuasion and understanding people. Because when you know persuasion and you understand people, you will naturally do what you need to do in order to get them to like you and do what you want them to do. So,
Okay.
not memorizing a pile of scripts. When we're training people as sales trainers, we try to understand our student. Do you already naturally gravitate toward persuasion and understanding people? Great. Now we just need to give you some fancy words and some fancy structure. Do you suck at persuasion and understanding people? Let's work on that part, okay? And then we'll give you the fancy words to use. I know it's not a simple answer. I'd love to simplify it for you, but it's a bit of an art and a science, really. So what we typically work on in my company are patterns. We teach principles. It's like we start by saying, "Hey, when do you want to sell somebody a house?" Today, now. Okay, great. Did they say they would buy a house now? No. Okay, then find out why not, right? This is just the path you're going to follow, okay? And so when you teach somebody patterns like that, it helps them. I had a sales guy that I was working with today, a long time on an amazing team. They do 1,000 units a year, and this agent himself sells 70, 80 houses a year. I'm working with him. We're listening to one of his calls. The guy, he goes, "Hey man, just following up with you. Wanted to see if you're still in the market to purchase." The lead goes, "Yeah, we are, but listen, we're expecting our child anytime now, and we're just kind of hanging out here until that comes through." This agent who sells 70 houses a year goes, "Okay, great. So are you thinking maybe in 2 or 3 months you want to get into that new house?" And I was like, "Dude,
Whoa.
you just missed the biggest rapport building opportunity that just went right past you because you're operating from a salesperson perspective, which is, can I sell you a house?" And I said, "Wait a minute. I want you to look at it this way. You're buying a house with that guy and his wife and his family, okay? And he says, hey, we're going to have a new baby and then we're going to wait to buy a house. You're going to talk to him differently because he's your business partner and you guys are buying the house together. That's going to direct your conversation way better than you trying to sell him a house." And so it's those kind of moments that you have to catch with people so that you can rub their nose in it and be like, don't poop here again, do it differently, right? Build that
Totally, yeah.
rapport.
So, to improve a golf swing, there's nothing like having a video, going back and watching it in slow motion and looking where your hands are and everything
Same
else.
thing applies to the real estate
How do you,
business.
do you go through and do autopsies with people on their calls like this a lot?
Oh, postmortems, autopsies, that's what my company does. We're sales trainers.
Yeah.
We do we get in there, man. We're, as my friend Sam Monreal used to say, we're elbow deep in the dough all the time with salespeople to fix this stuff.
Right, right. Wow, that's
You can't measure what you don't track, right? So
well, yeah.
so you
I
gotta
mean,
you gotta really look at those calls and see what's going on.
and when you're on the phone, you have a scotoma. You're not really
That's it, you're in
conscious
the
of
zone.
what you're doing,
Yeah,
right? Or you're out of the zone, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, but you just don't, And then when it's over, your subconscious just wants to block the call
Right.
out, and then you go back and listen to it. And you go, "Oh my God, did I really do that?" All right, let's talk a little bit about Conversion University for a minute. So
Sure.
you have really created something special for people who are interested in improving their conversion rates. Talk to us a little bit about this whole notion of Conversion University, why you built it, and what the benefit is to people that use it.
Yeah, so it came from me building and running sales teams, including inside sales teams. And what I initially, when I formed my coaching company 6 years ago, I was just wanting to teach other people how to build and implement inside sales into their businesses. And it was really just the structure of how to hire, manage, lead, and train ISAs. And I assumed that all these team leaders and businesses had robust sales training for their salespeople. And then what I discovered is that they don't. And so I had to create Conversion University, which was, hey, this is the training they need, 0 to 160. Like, this is what you do. Because we were really great at converting leads. My inside sales team was really amazing at doing that. And it all came from just teaching the principles that high level phone prospectors and lead converters use. I had to look at, hey, what are we doing? How are we doing it? How am I doing it? How are other really high productive salespeople? How do they conduct their conversation? Took that stuff, condensed it down into these principles that we teach now. That's the way that we were able to quickly ramp ISAs to increase their production. And then I discovered that a lot of agents don't have great training either. So we put it all together into Conversion University, and that's what we specialize in, is teaching these people how to approach, conduct, and execute really amazing sales conversations.
So whether you're an independent agent new in the business, or make 300 dials an hour and set 50 appointments a week, there's value for any level in here at that. I mean, you guys even have some really good role plays that you do is to sort of supplement the material that's in Conversion University.
Yeah,
What
we've
about those?
created a lot of teaching. We've created a lot of teaching tools to help people understand how to conduct conversation, how to understand conversation, how to. One of the things that we do is called the question game, and everybody loves it. And really, what we're doing is we teach a salesperson how to identify and ask direct questions into the face of a difficult objection.
Mhm.
So remember when we did that little role play and you said, yeah, I'm waiting for the market to crash. And I said, when you say market crash, what exactly do you mean? That's a very direct question that I asked into your objection that puts the ball back in your court and makes you go back into your head and qualify what it is you're saying and then explain it to me, right?
Right.
So it's teaching salespeople to how to have those kind of skills. That people love that stuff. It's the
Well,
kind of training they don't, it's the kind of training you don't get from the free scripts on the internet.
yeah, no, and I mean we've been using Conversion University for how long now? C3, has it been? We started the team
4
about 3
years?
years. Yeah, probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I first started in Conversion U when I got into the business with you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure
I
did.
went through the class. I mean, it's a great program. I've learned a lot from it, and I like how it's very question based oriented, as far as it's like question based selling, and it has a lot of value, and it taught me a lot. And I still go back and reference videos every once in a while, depending upon what area of the business I'm working on. So
For sure. Yeah. And our agents, when they join, they get plugged in, the members of the team, and we've gotten really great results from that. I mean, man, we got some people that are slaying it. We just got our Zillow numbers back. We're 98% Zillow best, top 2%. I think our CSAT score was 94, I think, or
Conversion
something
rate,
like that. Conversion rate, 8.5, I think it was, 8.4. And, a lot of it's
That's
because of
great,
the
man.
work that you've poured in, to our team, and we really
Thank you.
appreciate
I'll
that.
take all the credit. I take all the credit for it.
All
If
right,
I
get the
just
check
keep
ready.
going,
Yep.
is that all? Is that all the credit?
So, but for people who don't know you, I mean, and you're more of a kind of behind the scenes kind of guy and stuff. Although recently you've come out of your shell a little bit and started hanging out with the guys at Lab Coat Agents and Tristan
Yeah.
Armuda and
Yeah.
that bunch. Are you still doing your cash call on Lab Coat?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we do the cash call webinar or podcast is what it is now. And yeah, we now have partnerships with major industry vendors, Follow Up Boss, YLOPO, a bunch of different people. So yeah, we're getting in there. Yes. I'm getting a little more jazz hands. I'm getting in front of more people. We just really like sales training. We love doing this kind of stuff. And I still, to this day, coach and train people personally.
As you do our ISA department for sure. Uh, so you mentioned Follow Up Boss. You're actually going to be attending, and so are Rachel and Victor from our team.
I'll be
FubCon.
speaking and we'll be exhibiting at FubCon. So you guys can come see us. We'll be doing live classes. So I'll be speaking on the main stage. We'll be doing live classes from our exhibitor booth during the lunch breaks. And then after each day of content, you can come and you can have champagne and selfies with Dale. And we got some little hair guys here
Shut up.
that you can you
Shut
can
up.
come do your selfie with your Dale hair.
Dale,
It's a
it's not tall
FubCon
enough.
exclusive.
It's not tall
no,
enough, buddy.
It
No,
isn't.
he's
Yeah.
got a little extra gel in it today or something. I don't know. He's probably got some toothpicks stuck in his head that holding that up. You think?
Where can I buy one of those?
Yeah, you need one.
Right.
Will you send us some of those, man? I'll tell you, that's
Okay.
well,
I'm
yeah.
gonna send you a
we'll
couple.
take-
I'm gonna send you a couple Dale hairs. Yeah. there you
Yeah, if I should have asked you for them in advance of the show so we could have them on today. Wow, that's really incredible. So FubCon, that's in Vegas. That's the same time I'll be in Denver for our Sprint, our
Yep.
EXP Sprint. But let's see, that's going to be at the Cosmopolitan, right? Isn't that?
Yep. The Cosmo. Thank you
Cosmo,
for remembering that. I
right
forgot
next to
where
the
it was gonna be.
Aria. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
congrats on getting a speaking gig at the event. That's awesome.
Well,
Well,
who better to have?
yeah. Listen, Tom Ferry's gonna be there. Chet Black's gonna be there, and I was like, you guys can't have Chet Black and Ferry without me. So they were like, we agree. We should have you too.
Well, they need a dad bod there, right? I mean, Cheplak's a bodybuilder, and Ferry's
Oh, that
skin
guy.
is real.
That guy's he's a bar of steel covered in clothing, is what he is.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I know. He looks good for his age, that's for sure. Wow, that's amazing. Dale, so, and I hate to say this, but, we're quickly approaching the end of the time allotment here for the show, but what can you give us any advice? Do you have your clients invest in reading at all? Are there any thought leaders that you follow? Was there a single book that you can think that really impacted your life, your sales life?
Yeah, so the turning point for me, honestly, was How to Win Friends and Influence People by
Wow.
Dale Carnegie. I know it's like such an old trope to bring out, but the example that I gave to you of the 70 unit a year agent selling 70 houses a year, who, when you listen to him, totally skip over the fact that this guy said he was waiting for the birth of his child and didn't take that opportunity to build rapport.
Yeah.
If you go and read that book would tell you, hey, stop, talk about what matters to this guy, shut up about trying to sell him a house, and talk about his life and his kid and celebrate that stuff, right?
Exactly.
Show him that you care, and then he's going to want you to sell him a house, right? Like, it's in that book. Read the book and do what the book says. Like,
Yeah.
I get paid a lot of money to go and tell this guy that, because it came from that book that changed me a long time ago. And of course, I've listened to a lot of stuff since then, but if you asked for one, it just literally happened in a coaching call today with this person where the principles in that book weren't followed by that salesperson.
Yeah. I just find it totally mind blowing that our school systems don't make that book required reading when some of the stuff they make you take.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Is absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
We'll leave that
Yeah,
one aside there.
Yeah.
We know why that's the way it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it really is a shame.
they're teaching kids how to fail.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah. I agree, 100%.
don't learn how to do
100%.
taxes in high school. You don't learn how to
You don't-
build credit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crap that you don't learn how to do.
Right.
Learn how to go buy a car or finance a house it's beyond me. It's beyond me. Dale, before we go here, what's one thing that agents should be doubling down on besides what we've been talking about today? Working on their conversion skills, practicing. What's something else that agents should be should they be increasing their contacts per day? What's something that what can agents be doing to really kind of set themselves apart over the next couple of months as we get into 2023?
Develop a daily and weekly plan for your sales activity and execute it no matter what your mind tells you or no matter how you feel. Do it anyway. Do it ugly, do it sad, do it hopelessly, but frickin' do it. Just do it, and that will carry you through. So one agent that I'm very close to was down in the dumps and was like, I don't know, like this is not blah, blah, blah. This is not working out. And I said, hey, well, today, just for today, work your plan and don't give two shits. Don't look forward. Just look down at your plan and work it. And they were like, oh, and I said, you have a plan, right? For today. What's your plan for today? I don't have one. You mean you don't have any time blocks? You don't have anything on your schedule that says talk to people about real estate here? No. Okay. Stop, make a plan, and just do the plan regardless of how you feel. That's my advice. That's
I
what I
love
do. That's
that.
what gets me through.
Art Williams.
Yeah, it is. Just
do it.
It's
and
the
do it.
and it's the grind. It's the thing that people aren't willing to do. And real estate honestly hasn't been a grind really for the last 8 years.
10
it
years.
was 10 years. It's just been crazy. And for those of us who've been in it long enough, you by airship, I guess, but we've seen a few of these cycles, and this is when I get excited. I really think that this is where a really good real estate agent can add a ton of value to the public here and really earn their keep. I mean, it's been low-hanging fruit for too long and didn't require any value add to speak of. Now, I'm not trying to knock any agents in particular. I'm just saying in general, the market has been very favorable and very easy to make money in. But this is going to be great. The cream's going to rise to the top. Go ahead.
Yeah, in the past 10 years, you can be lazy and not very good at your business or craft and still make a living. Now it's going to be way easier to compete with people who are lazy, not very good at their craft, and freaking out and hiding and not taking action, right? That's going to be the competition is going to become much easier if you hone your skills, you practice your craft, and you work your plan.
Yeah, this is the time to get excited. It is not the time to freak out and get worried.
You got to be like that horse with the blinders on, just running straight ahead.
Yeah.
Not worried about what the competition or what anybody else is doing around you. You're focused on getting your shit done for the day, right? That's pretty much how you got to go about it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And that's true. I mean, if you do chunk it down and put it in daily bites, you're going to accomplish a lot more in a year than you will in a day. But you've got to create those habits. You got to be consistent, and you got to do it all the time. Didn't have to do that in the past. You could sell a house, take 2 weeks off, and there'd be another buyer waiting for you to take them around and show them houses.
As soon as you got back, right?
Now it's got to be disciplined. You got to really, really create a business
Routine.
here. All right, Dale, I'm going to ask you for last words. You got anything that we should have asked you that we didn't? Anything that any great thoughts you want to leave these agents that are getting toward the end of that notebook of notes they're taking here? Anything they should write down?
Yeah. Contacts will fix all of your problems. That's it.
Okay, let's define contacts.
Talking to people, consumers, about buying and selling real estate consistently every day will fix your problems.
How many contacts does an agent need to have to make $200,000 a year?
If you are, I'd say 3 years or less in the business, you need to be making at least 15 to 20 contacts per day, at least 5 days a week. If you're 5+ years in the business and you've been doing decent, then you can probably get away with, 8 to 10 contacts a day, depending on what your goals are. If you're a really well networked person with a lot of past clients in a good sphere, you can just have a couple of contacts a day and do well.
Wow. That is priceless. That is priceless.
About to break a mic here.
About to drop the mic. Careful.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's Lexan or if it's glass, but it could break. Wow. Well, Dale, I'll tell you, I think that anybody that watched this show today that didn't grow an inch or at least, get a glimmer of hope, for the next 12 months here. And as we continue to say, this is where you're going to really test your mettle and pick up market share. I mean, right now we shouldn't be looking at absolutes. We should be looking at how are we doing relative to everybody else. And, whether sales go up or down, we're still looking to grow market share. And a rising tide then will, of course, raise all ships. What's that? Is that Spider-Man behind me back there?
Holy moly.
I just happened to
Oh, look at
notice.
that.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you can't pay me enough to do that job right now.
Yeah, those guys were selling houses 3 weeks ago. They've already quit the business, man. Can you believe that?
That's because they didn't make 20 contacts a day. They're out there washing windows.
They should have gotten a hold of Dale a lot sooner, huh? Yep, absolutely. Well, all right, my friend, I want to wish you the best in Vegas, and it was great
Thank
to
you
see
so
you. We
much.
just came back from Vegas together at the Mandalay Bay, and had a great time, had some good memories that we made, and it's always good to connect with our friend Dale, and wish you the best, my brother, and
You too.
just if somebody in the audience wanted to seek you out, what's the best way to get through your gatekeepers and actually get to you?
It's very tricky, but if you email Dale@smartinsidesales.com, you're going to get me. Or if you just Google Dale Archdekin, I'm pretty much the only one that shows up there. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, I'm all over the place.
You can't miss the
Super
hair.
easy to find.
We'll have to trademark the hair now.
Trademark
The hair.
Well, he's actually got something he could trademark now.
Right. That's fair, yeah.
Google best hair in real estate.
All right, very good. Well, my friend, hey, we're going to say adieu at this point, and again, wish you the best. Great, thank you so much for being on the show today, ladies and gentlemen out there in the audience. I hope your cup runneth over. Is
Hold
all I
on.
can say.
Prediction for Cowboys.
Oh, prediction
Real
for Cowboys.
Real quick. What do we got?
Uh-oh,
Trellis?
Travis, help us out here.
They'll win. How about that?
They'll win.
They'll win.
They'll win. That's my prediction.
We're playing the Cincinnati Bears.
We're playing the Chicago Bears. Yeah, Chicago Bears.
Cincinnati Bears.
They're
It's
going
the Cincinnati Bengals. Sorry.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears.
He kind of combined two teams, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's all
It's
right.
all good.
They'll win. That'll be my prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And on that note,
Well, very good, Jerry. That's right. We're still pulling for you. We're still fans. Just don't lose any more games, right? Dak, we hope your thumb's feeling better.
That's it.
You gotta tighten up that passing a little bit, and we do still love you though. All right, folks. Thank you again. Hey, guess who we got on next week?
Chris Molinar?
Yes.
Who is it? Chris?
From Canada. This guy.
That's-
We've got a rock star on next week. I want
That's
you to meet
right,
Chris.
yes.
Yeah, be sure to tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see you on Cliff's Notes. All right, folks, tune in to Cliff's Notes every Thursday at 1 o'clock Central for the tips, tricks, and tactics to explode your business. I